be seated.
No estoy sin charge on the Hoya. Yeah. Okay. How do that?
Welcome everyone. We are pleased to invite you to this very important press conference. Before we get to the most important part of this press conference, we like to introduce to you our officials from the University of Liberia on the card table. First, we start with the president of the university, Professor Dr. Lily Mafian, followed by the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Professor Agnes Richfield. Then we have officials from the President's office here. Actually, good to see you. And we have the Director for the Center of Testing and Evaluation, Professor Moses here, and his assistant. And we also have Professor Francis Mawia, the Director for Graduate Study, Regional Science, University of Liberia. And the President was the representative of the University of Liberia to come to some of this all important events. At this time, we'd like to let our media colleagues know that following the presentation from the President, you will have the opportunity to ask questions. At least 5 questions will be to the media because of the President's schedule. And we ask that this press conference be restricted, the questions be restricted to the release of the results. With this, now I'd like to invite to the podium the President of the University of Liberia for official statement. Welcome, President.
Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, good afternoon. We want to thank you for responding, like always, to our call to provide coverage and inform the public on activities taking place at UL. This, in our view, is a concrete step in strengthening our relationship with you as members of the Fourth Estate. The University of Liberia is pleased to announce the results of the July 12, 2025 entrance examination for the academic year 2025. This year, we witnessed an impressive increase in applications, reflecting the dynamic growth and reputation of our institution. We congratulate all applicants for their hard work and commitment, and we welcome the new cohort of students who will be joining our vibrant university community. These results are a reflection of both the computer-based entrance examination and the paper-based examination, that were administered by the Center for Testing and Evaluation from July 1st, 2025 to July 5th, 2025, respectively. The Center for Testing and Evaluation administered the examinations at designated centers in Montserrado County and the David Straz Sinjay Technical and Vocational College in Sinjay, Grand Cape Mount County. Here are the results for the undergraduate colleges. Total registered, 13,130 candidates. Total absent, 614, or 4.68% of the candidates. The total who turned out, 12,516 candidates, or 95.32% of those registered. The total who passed, 2,807, or 28.32% of the candidates. Total failed, 9,299, or 74.30% of the candidates. Total disqualified or incorrect shading of number, 410, or 3.28% of the candidates. Categorized by gender. Successful, 1,415, or 50.41%. Successful male candidates, 1,392, or 49.59%. As registered, 220 candidates. Total absent, 33 candidates, or 14.93%. Total candidates, or 13.30%. Total failed, 85 candidates, or 45.21%. Total remedial or incorrect shading of number, 4 candidates, or 2.13%. The University of Liberia, through its Center for Testing and Evaluation, routinely conducts entrance examinations and aptitude assessments as part of the admission process for its undergraduate, graduate, and professional schools. The results of these examinations are utilized to identify candidates who are qualified to undertake collegiate coursework without additional high school preparation. The examinations are offered in 2 formats, the paper-based category and the computer-based category. For a candidate to be successful in the UL entrance and placement examination, he or she must score at least 70% and above in English and 50% and above in mathematics. We are also pleased to inform you that UL just concluded an 8-week vacation school for mainly junior and senior students in order to make up for courses they may have foregone. This measure is strategic to allow students to complete all their academic requirements and to be eligible to apply to graduate on time. In addition, we want to inform the public that submission of requirements for readmission, second degree, and transfer for undergraduate programs, and the graduate and professional schools, including new admission, is in progress. Registration for the first semester of the academic year 2025-2026 starts effective today, August 18, 2025. As part of our commitment to fostering academic excellence and enhancing student outcomes, we are excited to update you on several key initiatives of recent origin. These initiatives aim to strengthen UL academically, financially, and in terms of social inclusion, and prepare UL for its next major strategic plan. First, UL is continuing to tackle academic fraud and other unlawful acts. The Standing Committee on Academic Fraud that was established in April to investigate new claims of fraudulent academic activity has been at work reviewing cases. In a parallel process, the transition team that was appointed to overhaul the operations of the Office of Enrollment Services, or OES, has been on the task reviewing procedures and analyzing processes for reform. Second, UL has gender equality efforts. In June, UL established the Office of Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment, to be known as OGEWE, OGEWE, in response to the 2023 National Commission on Higher Education Liberia Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Policy Mandate. The substantive responsibilities of this new office are to foster a climate of gender equality and women's empowerment on the UL campuses for students, faculty, and staff, to foster compliance with national legislation and policy instruments related to gender, to strengthen UL's policy and accountability mechanisms related to gender equality, SGBV, and safeguarding, to foster participatory gender equality and women's empowerment across UL, to oversee activities related to gender equality and women's empowerment at UL, to create and manage messaging related to gender equality and women's empowerment for the UL community, to oversee monitoring and evaluation of UL-related gender data, and to liaise with other actors in the gender equality and women's empowerment space in Liberia. Third, UL is raising awareness about disability access and inclusion. In July 2025, UL's Resource Center for Disability Services and Support and Alternative Learning, or RCD-SSAL, and the Liberia Unipod made UL history by holding the first ever entrance exam for prospective students with visual impairments. This required both creating and administering a Braille version of the entrance exam for some test takers and providing special visibility enhancing computer software for other visually impaired test takers. The results of this exam will be released to the press as soon as they are available. Additionally, RCD-SSAL held a week-long series of awareness workshops on disability in August that spanned the Capitol Hill, Fendel, and Strauss St. James campuses. Fourth, UL is mobilizing our PhDs and other terminal degree holders. On August 7th, UL held a retreat for its PhD faculty and other faculty with terminal degree from across campus to discuss the importance of becoming a PhD-centric university as part of UL's effort to achieve a top 300 in Africa ranking, in line with the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development. Just over 50 of UL's approximately 135 PhD and terminal faculty attended, along with UL's Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Agnes Reeves-Taylor. Topics of discussion included advancing research and innovation culture and practice at UL, revamping UL's study leave program, and a preview of the President's emerging strategic goals, to which attendees were invited to offer feedback and ideas. The retreat also included a refresher on the President's 5 E's: education, effectiveness, efficiency, excellence, and ethics, and emphasized the role of PhD and other terminal degree holders in upholding these values at UL. In sum, UL is on the move, as always, with many good things now and on the horizon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. At this stage, we will now invite the Executive Director of the Center for Testing and Evaluation, Associate Professor Mosehine, to give us some technical detail as related to the entrance result. I think from when he said, we will go from there. So please, Professor Hine.
Thank you very much. President of the University of Liberia, Vice President of Academic Affairs, members of the press, Assistant Professor Aaron Green, ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful to God for this opportunity to serve the University of Liberia. We are grateful to the President of the University of Liberia, the Vice President of Academic Affairs, to serve within the administration. The University of Liberia routinely administers entrance aptitude tests as part of the admission process for its undergraduate, graduate, and professional students. The results of these examinations are utilized to identify candidates who are qualified to undertake college work without additional high school preparation. The examinations are offered in two formats, paper-based and the computer-based. The registration period. The Center for Testing and Evaluation started the registration process on the 26th of May and concluded on the 15th of June 2025. The paper-based test was administered on the computer-based test started on the 1st of July 2025 and concluded on the 5th of July 2025. And then we administered the paper-based on the 12th of July 2025. There are skills set by the university through its entrance committee that the testing center follows to analyze the results. For undergraduate candidates to be successful, candidates have to achieve at least 60% in mathematics and at least 70% in English to be considered. Candidates who score below 60% in mathematics or below 70% in English are unsuccessful. You register for the test, but they don't tell you how on the day of the test. The center might include absence through the examiners. If you were assigned, if you only share the exam number that we assign you, then we are not able to identify the grade. So you are classified as wrongly shaded. We also have the Davis class in the Technical Educational College in Cape Mount County. So you are entering exam result for class in the Educational College for into 7 categories. Successful candidates who achieve at least 60% in mathematics and at least 70% in English are considered. Remedial in mathematics, candidates who achieve at least 30% in mathematics and at least 70% in English, or have a mathematics score of less than 60% are considered. Remedial in English, candidates who achieve at least 60% in English and at least 60% in mathematics, or having an English score of less than 70% are considered in one of these categories. Remedial in both mathematics and English. Candidates who achieve at least 40% in English or have an English score of less than 70% and achieve at least 30% in mathematics or has a mathematics score of less than 60% are considered. Unsuccessful candidates who fail to meet any of the above 4 categories are considered unsuccessful. Absent candidates who register for the University of Nigeria entrance but who not make it to the entrance examination are wrongly acknowledged. Wrongly shaded candidates who incorrectly shaded their exam numbers during the exam. Summary of the results. The undergraduate colleges, a total of 13,130 candidates registered for the test. 614 accounting for 4.68% of the candidates were absent. 12,516 candidates were present. Of the total 12,516 candidates who participated in the July 12 examination, 2,807 candidates accounting for 28.32% of the candidates successfully made a pass. Conversely, 9,299 or 74.30% of the candidates are unsuccessful. Additionally, 410 candidates accounting for 3.28% of the candidates shaded their exam number incorrectly, resulting in their results being indeterminate. Of the 2,807 candidates who successfully passed the entrance exam, 1,415 or 50.41% are females, whereas 1,392 candidates accounting for 49.59% are males. Passing here, the total of 221 candidates registered for the entrance examination for David A. Pratt, Singh, Technical Educational College, located in Grand Cape. 33 of the candidates amounting to 14.93% were absent, whereas 188 candidates took the test. Of the total 188 candidates who participated in the July 12 examination in St. 25 candidates accounting for 13.30% were successful. Conversely, 85 of the candidates accounting for 45.21% were unsuccessful. Additionally, 4 of the candidates could not correctly shade their exam numbers, and so their results are indeterminate. About 10.11% need to do extra work in mathematics, while roughly 17.0% should join the remedial program in English. Moreover, 12.23% are required to participate in the remedial programs in both mathematics and English to move forward to the regular program. We hope this shows the ongoing support and dedication that all candidates succeed. We look at the results by colleges. 1,123 candidates are successful from the College of Science and Technology, followed by 960 candidates successful in the business and public administration. You can follow this on our website, CTE official website, to go through each graph step by step. We also look at the result by the level of education. What level of education we reach before sitting for our tests. So we look at the high school graduates, current workers, and those who are attending other universities, but deem it necessary to transition to the university or see transfer to the university. So 2,261 high school graduates are successful. 528 current workers are successful, whereas 18 candidates who are attending other universities are also successful. We also look at the age groups of those who took the test. Top of the list is the age range 20 to 24. 1,249 candidates are successful in this group, followed by age range 25 to 29. 578 candidates are successful in this range. The next group, 15 to 19, 550, and the last group is age 30 to 34, 209 candidates are successful. We look at the distribution of the average in mathematics and English across all successful candidates. So if you move to our website and encounter this, just place your mouse here, you find that the average score is picking up the score of 71. And then you follow the curve. As you follow the curve, you will see the averages and the number of candidates falling in this range. For example, 472 candidates have an average score of 71 and so forth. We also look at the distribution based on category of schools, which is dominated by the private schools. But since the graph is static, if you move on the next slide, you can see that if you go through the animation, you will see that the graph will be telling you if you look at the
for stuff is
faith-based schools, what's the distribution? Looking at the private schools, the distribution will also follow. But you will enjoy these beautiful graphics if you take your own time and go to our website. So how do you view the results? You go at the CTE website and in the search engine, you type the exam number of the candidate. Why not the name of the candidate? Because if you are unsuccessful, we do not disclose your name. Only your exam, only your schools, so that we know your performance. But we shield your name. Only those who are successful, those who are absent, and those who only share names are disclosed. So this is the honor graduate. And then on the next slide, you also have strategies engaged. You must know your exam number as a candidate who took the test. Tell your exam number in that engine, and then you will see that. But that will be at the official website. The website will be, or the link of the results will be on the official Facebook page. In most cases, candidates only have interest in their grades. They don't go through the website. How did they obtain the grade? What skill was used? Candidates don't follow it. So if you go at the website, you go on pages, you will see the background. This is the introduction, results category. The skill that I just read is here on our website. So we encourage candidates that are watching us. And then the summary of the results also. That's the summary of the result. Everything that we said is summarized in that. And so what we also saw in the presentation will be on the university page, so that you put your exam number up there if you are undergraduate candidate. If you are a candidate who do the test honors and gate, then you take your exam number. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. That's the issue taken by explanation. At this junction, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is now time that we engage with the president of the University of Nigeria and executive director and his team. Obviously, we have questions, clarities, and additional information to be seeking. It is a time that will allow you to make those concerns known. All we require of you, like I said before, the president entered this room, is that we want you to stick to feel confident in the statement of presented. We said this press conference is exclusively, among other things, to announce the official result of the July 12 undergraduate result. So we take, like Makodi said, at most 6, right? 5, at most 5. So all you need to do, you raise your hand, recognize you, you say your name, and the institution you represent. Then you pose your question. Please, do have 2 more minutes in that, so that we don't have the time here. Now, we take the first 2, and then the president will respond. At any point in time when there's a need for the executive director to respond, she may, at her own time, signal to him. So yes. I think the first 2, say your name and institution.
So, I'm talking about President and J.H. Grandstand, I write from this. You talked about, you talked about people with travel, you talked about people with disabilities. In terms of creating the entrance, getting that result. We have need some leverage and we prepare students to the evidence of the grade system, and we will have to encourage them to come to get higher education. We have need some consideration for them. Yeah.
We go first, sir.
Yeah, next.
And,
Okay, so follow up.
well, one comment,
Okay, yeah, please.
so, President John Webster, Many graduates find it difficult to uh, write the, the entrance for the master program. But then they think that they graduate from the school and to be given the exit door, I mean, welcome door for the master program. They give reason why people graduate from the University of Liberia, undergraduate degree, again, writing entrance to the master program.
Okay, with these two, you allow the president to respond. So, okay.
Thank you. My name is Mokolo and I report for Insight Library. And so my question firstly goes to the president. The University of Liberia is, for all Liberians, especially in our setting, those who don't have the. But then, if exam is being given, for example, you have about 12,000 candidates and 10,000 having a successful pass, it is not something that the majority students want to get. Is that also a failure for the University of Liberia looking at you want to, be there for everybody? Is that a failure for the university in general? And the last one, I think for Mr. Gideon, the student, the perception about Liberia University or we the Liberian, we believe that the number has been extended like 12,000 at the end of the day, 2,000 person passing. It is a perception that Liberians or the university have a system of marginalizing the ordinary people. What do you think? Thank you.
Okay.
Start with the first two questions.
Yeah.
Sure. With regard to the visually impaired students, the current plan is to hold them to the same standards of admission that the other students had to hold to. However, whenever we look at the results, we're empowered to make decisions. So when we have the actual results in hand, when Mr. Enoch provides them, then we can ascertain whether we will use the existing standard or need to make any modifications. As we did with Sinjay, if someone doesn't meet the standard, then they have to engage in remedial education. However, we're not currently making provision for remedial education at the main campuses of UL, only at Sinjay because it is an associate degree granting institution. However, we believe that it best benefits the students with disabilities to hold them to the same standards as everyone else. So, thank you for that. Do you want to answer the other question first, or should I do two questions? Okay, so the second question was whether I'm doing a disservice, or whether we're doing a disservice to the people of Liberia by having an exam that only maybe a quarter of the respondents was able to pass. I would say that we're actually performing a service to the nation of Liberia by taking the strongest learners and giving them advanced education. And every university has a carrying capacity. It has a certain number of classrooms, has a certain number of chairs, has a certain number of teachers, and it has a certain number of students that each teacher should have to be able to teach successfully. So within that mathematics, we figure out how many students we can hold. Right now, the university is approaching 30,000 students, which is basically at the edges of its carrying capacity, maybe even slightly in excess. So until we have more room for more students and more teachers for more students, we do have to limit the number of students that we can bring in. If we have, for example, one teacher with 150 students, it's very hard for all the students in that classroom to hear what the teacher is saying. And it's very hard for that teacher to grade all the papers regularly, much less give personalized attention to the students to help them learn. We don't want to keep the university in a situation that challenges teachers to teach and learners to learn. We want to create a more optimal environment. So right now, we bring in as many students as we can within that reality of what our school can absorb. But I'd like to remind people that the Republic of Liberia has many fine institutions of higher education. There are several private universities that also welcome students, and there are also many regional community colleges and some universities in the counties that can likewise teach students who at a later time, if they so choose, upon excellent results in marks, could transfer to the University of Liberia. We need to think of the higher ed sector in Liberia as a system where all of the institutions have to work together to educate the public.
What is a failure for university?
Not a failure. I see no failure there.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Mr. Hine, you want to say something? You have a question directed to you?
Yes, okay, there were two questions. Let me start from the first. The second question, do you marginalize students so that they can fill the university entrance? That's a very fine question. The University of Liberia through this testing center, during registration, gives out a question board. We administer two tests, 24, first entrance, then second entrance. More than 12,000 persons took the first test, and more than exactly 10,034 candidates took the second test. So during this test registration period, the question booklets, English and mathematics, were given out to candidates who were registered for this current test. If we had the intention of marginalizing candidates, we wouldn't have disclosed the format of the test. Our booklets are out there. The next entry will be administered the 13,251 candidates that took this test. Those booklets are available at the testing center again. Those are booklets that will be given to candidates who will be registered for the next test, so that you can see how the test will appear. Now, another point, if you look on the screen, will not show the candidate name. That candidate has a score of 36 in mathematics and a score of 27 in English. Why do we show the grades on the net? So that we can put testing center to test. You pay just $10 at the bank in your account. And then you go to the testing center to ask for your answer sheet. We take your answer sheet, give it to you. If you also have interest, the booklet that we gave you to study from, bring them a look to see what topics that were in those booklets are different from topics that we highlighted in this current test. That answer sheet, you can mark your own answer sheet and compare the grade on the internet. If you are not certified, we take that answer sheet and put it in the machine. When we put it in the machine is going to also grade you in your presence. And then you will see that nobody cheated you. So what I'm saying in summary is the university does not have the intention. The good thing is the UR administration, those in administration don't stand for testing center. This is what you do so they know what come out. What we present to the university, what we see from the machine, from the candidate's performance, is what we present, and that's what they approve. The good thing is the scale is on the net, during registration, the scale was there. Every candidate needs what would be the scale. Let's come to why students who graduated from the university are still write the graduate school test. That's the university policy, which is in the purview of the level that is above testing center. Testing center focus is when there is space in the university, the testing center is supposed to administer tests. And those we are supposed to administer tests to are those that we administer tests. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hine. We now take the last batch of the questions. This time around at both 3. So that we keep the vice president and Hotei waiting for long. So, Ed, we come.
Yeah, sir. My name is Leno Quinez. I'm not for the new time school. I want to ask the head of
The
the head of the testing. Most times traditionally, New gives 2 entrances, like the first one and then the second one. So, are we going to see the next bunch of entrance, or are you posting the chapter on?
Well, the office of the enrollment services will speak through administration if there is a need. As I said, the testing center does not take decision, but the enrollment services manages the enrollment of the university. And they work under the vice president for academic affairs, and then the vice president for academic affairs working on the president of the university. So we will first begin by enrollment, whether there is a need. If there is a need, testing center will be established.
Okay, the president, in general, says the president as the president, at least the female can come forward and put some caution, it should not just be male dominant. So please, the female, please come forward and ask the question, yes.
So-
The president can ask somebody from the female side.
Good afternoon, Calvin Farmer. My name is Christopher Besson, and I report for Inside Liberia. I want to know how does the university plan to support students who did not pass the exams in the near future? And my next question to Mr.
So
Hill.
one question goes there, and goes five, let's give other opportunity, the female most prevalent.
So far, I enjoy my question.
Yeah, okay. Then we take the last one from somebody who have not asked. If not, then you're. Yes.
So, Madam Hill, what factor do you think that is contributing to the high rate of student failing when it comes to university of Liberia in 2026? And then follow up to that, I also want to know how does, were there any changes in the examination format or assessment criteria for this year as compared to previous years?
Okay, first, let me go back to what, there was a question of manual, or well, manual, let me start from there and show you something on the screen. So if you look on the screen, what you see on the screen, it tells you that human being does not determine the grade that you score. That's a process through which your papers are marked. The only way we do is to place your answer sheet in the machine, and the machine is grading you based on the P of the test. This is why the testing center does not manualize you, or and this is why you are given the opportunity to come back to the testing center and to see your grade you are not satisfied. We'll put your answer sheet in that machine, and then your grade will be published on the net. Will come in. Back to the grading. What we have done here is the same thing that we did. We didn't change anything. Before you say for the test, we tell you what the test will be. But sometimes the failure, I spoke 2019 on the education review sector, education sector review 2019 in Ghana. And this same question was asked. If you open my page, you see that video. Why do students always feel you are interested? The key reason is, first, let's ask questions. When LU is graduating students or graduating students, how many persons graduating from the Department of Mathematics and how many persons are graduating from the Department of English? These people graduating the Department of English are the ones that are supposed to be teaching high schools. But go around in the various schools, how many persons have degree in mathematics that are teaching? If you even take the test in other schools and give the mathematics test to teachers who are teaching mathematics, there will still be a mass failure because these people are not mathematicians. There's where the problem lies. You are giving the format of the test, you will be having find the slope of the line, find the equation of the line, write the quadratic equation, give you the two rules. Still, you are not able to make it. The reason is your foundation is not there. 1990, I was in the 7th grade. I graduated from elementary 1989. When I went to, I left Grandview, I went to Harper. I saw the small 5-1 hundred in Newtown area. But I was hands free. If I'm not mistaken, there was a small 5-1. I scored a good grade in English, but mathematics, the lady said, the sister said I should go back to 6th grade because my mathematics was really old. The reason was not that I was a dull student, but because in grade school, I did not have good math teacher. When I went back for the entrance in JS Pratt, that's the other branch of AD Roberts that is in Harvard. Those topics that in my time that I was not talking great, I met the same topics in JS Prep. And because I practiced and I had somebody to people me before that test, I made a successful pass. I came at the University of Europe on major was mathematics and minor physics. Based on my performance, the University of Europe awarded me a scholarship and I did masters in statistics and probability in this kind of University of Science and Technology. So what I'm saying is, the candidates are not feeling because the UL wants to deny candidates because the foundation is not there. So what should be our focus is build a foundation of those who think degrees in mathematics. Let's find opportunity for them to go for masters. The people with masters and PhD will be teaching early. Then individual with bachelor degree will be picked to high school because you are not. Go to other universities, the AMP, most of the students that are teaching are masters students in mathematics. They should be teaching high school. We also have to visit the pay structure. In that period, teachers are paid based on area of assignment. I obtain master's degree. If you send me in a high school to teach, they will pay me the same high school salary. So where do you think I would want to teach? I want to teach at the university level and leave high school that's paying their students less than how many years that. So these are factors that I was considering.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
That was the coolest.
With that, the president want to announce that this press conference comes to a close based on this point. And we want to also inform you that we were live, this press conference will be very live. So our online viewer as well participated in a particular question that came up and we want to get a endorsement by the president so that the staff of the viewer relation can read it and I'll respond. Okay, please.
Okay, so it's more like our concern. So we are live, and some of the candidates they are claiming that there were repeated questions during the examination, and that might be the reason of the high failure rate in the examination. So I don't know, can you address that?
Repeat the question.
In the examination, some are claiming that one question will be repeated like 3-4 times. And then so you find like 2-3 questions repeating frequently like 3-4 times in the examination.
But if the question is repeated, but it is correct, and you get it correct 2-3 times, then you should pass. But that's what I was
Yeah, that was the point of that. If they feel they have no idea of this question.
Even the only question that I had problem is you have been raised to 3 or 5. You were raised to 1 or 5. And that point is awarded free across the board. That machine that you saw marking, they say give as bonus. So any question that they promise, we play that error by award it as bonus. This is why even if we look at the machine output, candidates that were absent, they were giving like 2 points. Whether you were absent, one you pass in the machine because we say award that question free across the board. We still score 2%, though we did not sit for the test. That's because we gave the points across the board.
Thank you. So we now again invite the president, Professor Dr. Lily Mapayan, to give our closing remarks.
Thank you all again for being here and reporting on this important milestone in the academic year of the University of Liberia at that time when we begin the process of selecting students for the next academic year and forming the next graduating class of the University of Liberia. As your questions rightly reveal, gaining entrance to the University of Liberia is one of the most desirable life events for a large swath of the population in the Republic of Liberia. It's an important time to reflect on the fact that education is a lifelong journey that requires many inputs to create successful outcomes. I want to commend the efforts of the Ministry of Education, particularly under Minister Jala, to improve K-12 education, which, as many question askers have pointed out, has at times struggled in Liberia. yes, there's a lot more we need to do to improve K-12 education so that when students graduate from high school, they're better prepared to enter college at the University of Liberia or elsewhere. It's also important to remember that higher education, namely college and university education, inclusive of AA granting institutions, itself performs an important role in society to prepare experts who will do things that require standards. Sometimes I make the example to students who say, why can't we just let everyone in? And I say, if you're driving over a bridge that was built by someone that doesn't know how to do math, how would you feel about that? Would you worry? What if that bridge collapses? If your mother or your child is sitting on the surgery table having surgery from a doctor who wasn't good at math or science, or maybe doesn't read well enough to read the instructions on the medicine bottle, do you want that person doing surgery on your mother or your child? You don't. So having standards in higher education makes it possible for true experts to be created. And people have to come with a certain level of preparation to achieve that, and that is very essential to the achievement of national development. So for that reason, the university does rightly maintain standards, whether at the undergraduate or graduate levels, and we will continue to do so. At the same time, we will work collaboratively with the Ministry of Education and with K through 12 educators, most importantly by creating K through 12 educators who come through our own college of education with strong standards, and the degree to which we improve that education will make the possibility of university entrance open to wider and wider people. Over time, we'll enlarge the campus, more people can come. But as a nation, we have to also strengthen those higher ed institutions in the outlying counties so that everybody everywhere can get university education that's right for them. So on that note, I will say thank you. And again, it's a pleasure and privilege to serve as the president of the University of Liberia in service of the youth and the people of the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Executive Director, Professor Hine and your team. On this note, we want to announce that this press conference has come to a close. You will remain to your respective seats for the President of Team Vitayo. And thereafter, because of the press, we have copies of the statement printed given to you. Those of you who have your email through WhatsApp, you can also do it electronically. Thank you very much, Madam President. It was good having you here. The end result is declared and officially released. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you.